Welcome to this session. Myself, Vaismriti, working as assistant professor in ACE Engineering College. I am going to deal data communication and networking subject for you this semester. In this subject, in this session, I would like to explain what are the units you are going to study in detail. First, let us consider what are the topics present in what are the units which I am going to cover in this data communication and networking. We all know we have 5 units. In the 5 units, the first unit is Introduction to Data Communications. And the next one is Data Link Layer. Third unit is Network Layer. Fourth unit is Transport Layer. And the last unit is Application Layer. And for this subject, we are going to follow 2 textbooks. The first textbook is Computer Network by Kuroshi James. And the next textbook is Data Communication and Networking by Forozen, 4th edition. These 2 textbooks, Computer Network by Kuroshi James and Data Communication Networking by Forozen, I am going to send the soft copies from which you can see all the units and study. While coming for this units, the first unit is Introduction to Data Communication. In this, we are going to cover data communication, networks, the internet, protocols and standards, layered task, the OSI model, layers in the OSI model. This is the OSI model we are going to study, and TCP/IP protocol suite, addressings, wireless LAN. In data communications, first topic, we are going to study the components present in the data communication and the system, data communication system we are going to study. Networks, we are going to see what are the networks related things are present in the networks, like the topologies we are going to study, the performance criteria, the security, and LAN, WAN, MAN connections we are going to see in the networks. Coming to the internet, here we are going to know the history of the internet, from where the internet has been started and which organization has developed this internet, protocols and standards. To transmit any data from one place to the another or from one device to the another device, we require some set of rules. These rules are framed by some standards, and these are calling as protocols, and this forming by some standard institutes like IEEE, a familiar example. Next, we'll see the layered task and the OSI model, layers in the OSI model. These are the 7 layers present in the OSI model: physical link layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session, presentation, and application layer. If we see the coloring of these layers, we can see these 2 are of same color, these are of different colors, and these 3 are of same color. With this, we can say these 3 are related as software, and this above 4, the below 4 are hardwares. Okay, and this is main heart we can call for the OSI model. Here the OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. Open System Interconnection, and this was developed by ISO. ISO. I means International Organization for Standardization, we call. Organization and standardization. That organization has developed this open system interconnection model. This is transmission control protocol and is internet working protocol. These both are a little bit similar. We'll see what is similarity and what is a small difference present in the both. Addressings, we'll see the port address, physical address, and so on. Wireless LAN, here we are going to study the architecture and different wireless LANs in this unit. Okay, next, the next unit is data link layer. If you remember this OSI layer, first we have seen the physical layer. Here we can easily understand in this introduction part, we are going to study the data communication part, and the second part is a physical layer also, how the functioning of the physical layer, and the remaining units will explain about the remaining 6 layers, and the names are also like that. If we see the second unit, it is data link layer. In this layer, we are going to see introduction to the link layers, data link control. In this, we are going to see the farming, flow and error control protocols, noisy and noiseless channels, HDLC, and multiple access protocols, random access protocols, controlled access, and channelization. Here we are going to see the multiple access techniques also. And 802.11 MAC protocols and IEEE 802. If we see the and frames also, we are going to see. For this, in this data link layer, what we are going to study main is error controlling, physical addressing, farming, access control, and flow control. In detail, we are going to see all these in the data link layer. This unit is a little bit bigger unit compared to all the other 4 units. Here we may take a little bit time, we may take some time to complete this unit, because each and everything we have to study in detail. Flow control is very important. When we try to send some data from one system to the another system, we should see how fast it is going, how slow it is going, what are the things present. For this, flow control and error control is also very important. While transmitting, if any error occurs, what is the remedy for that? That we are going to see. Different techniques we are having for this error control. We have to detect the error and we have to control the error. In the same way, physical addressing, we are going to give some address to the data, and the framing also is very important, because the data is converted into frames in this data link layer, and we are going to see the access control all in detail in data link layer. That is our second unit. Next will come for the third unit. The third unit is our network layer. In this introduction to the network layer, we will see virtual circuit and datagram networks. We are going to study inside a router input processing and internet protocols, forwarding and addressing in the internet. We are going to see. Here, this is a source to destination transmission I am taking. A small example, I would like to explain what is happening in the network layer. Here, this is the sender side and this is the receiver side. When we are sending any data from topmost layer, that is application layer, we are going to get the data. Here, we are going to add this is our data, actual data we got, and we are going to add some header to this one. Means some address I am going to add, and I am going to make it as a packets. Here we are going to convert into packet, and that is again at the sender side. These packets should be converted as a to the transport layer, how it is what is the requirement for the transport layer, like that this should be converted. This data only it should go to the transport layer. The network layer is responsible for the delivery of individual packets from source to host, source to destination, or source host to the destination host. Means in the form of packets we are going to send. Means logical address, IP address we are going to add in this. We are going to add a logical address that we are calling it as an IP address we are going to add, and routing to which network it should go, and the networks between them, transmission between the networks, all are being present in this, being added in detail. We are going to see in our third unit. While coming for the fourth unit, it is a transport layer. In this transport layer, I am going to cover introduction and transport layer services, multiplexing and demultiplexing, connectionless transport, that is UDP, user datagram protocol, principles of reliable data transfer, connection oriented transport, principle of congestion control. See, these are the topics I am going to cover in the transport layer. In this introduction and transport layer surface, we are having a lot of subtopics. All those topics I am going to cover. Okay, this for this layer. See, here what is happening from session layer. The layer before, this is the sender side and this is the receiving side. In this, the transport layer is responsible for the delivery of message from one process to the another process. Here, what is service point addressing, segmentation and reassembly, and connection control, flow control, and error control. All these functionings are done in the network layer, and this is known as process to process communication. This in detail, how this these layers are being split like this, segments. Okay, how these segments are formed, that we will see in detail in our fourth unit, transport layer. The last unit is application layer. In this layer, we'll have application and presentation layer. Both we are going to see in this layer. Principles of networking applications, the file transfer, electronic mail in the internet, overview of DNS, domain name system. We call it as, I think many of you heard about this domain name system. How it works, we'll see in detail. These are some examples of application where we are going to, what is the application, to understand this application layer. These are some tools which help us. Okay, this in this application layer is very simple, and many of you don't know what is application layer actually, because every day each and every person use this application layer, and they don't know about this background work, means the OSI model. In this, all these chapters, you will understand what is application layer and what are the things present, and these protocols we can call, what are the protocols present in the application layer. See, application layer, the data, actual data is in the form of message only, and this is sent to the presentation layer. A user directly is linked to the data. Here also the user is linked to the data. This is our sender and this is our receiver side. All these things, it may be new for you all, but it's a very simple. while completion of our network application layer, you will understand it very clearly. Now, after completion of this data communication and networking subject, you will have a conceptual model and basic elements of data communication system. Means you will be understanding what are the elements present in data communication system and what is data communication system. You will be understanding. And the next you will be know about the basic concepts of the network. What are the things involved in the network, and know about the internet also, and what are the topologies and what are the physical structures present in the network. Understand the concept of internet. We have many internet service providers. We have local, we are having some providers. At national level we have some providers, and international level we have some providers. About these three providers we are going to understand. You will be understanding this concept of the internet. Have a knowledge about the OSI model, about the 7 layers and the functionalities of the 7 layers. You will be understanding. You will have the knowledge. You will understand the functionality of the OSI layer. Understand the concept of wireless LANs. Nowadays we are using a wireless communication system, and for that we required some wireless knowledge and the LANs, local area network. These we are going to understand. We call it as WLANs sometimes. These concepts also you will be understanding it very clearly. Thank you. The term here, what is data communication? The exchange of, as I already told, the exchange of information between two devices or two systems, or one person to the other system, from one system to the other system. We are calling it as communication. When you are sending data from this system to the other system, we are calling it as data communication. Data communication is nothing but exchange of information between two points, or from one point to the other point with a transmission media. If we see the diagram, if we see this figure, we can clearly understand that all the systems are connected to a network. Means this system, if I want to communicate from here to the mobile, I can easily transfer my data to a particular mobile with a security. And this, all these are globally connected to a network. This is nothing but a data communication and networking. The simple term, as I told you, the exchange of data between two devices. It may be, the devices may be of any type. The devices, one device may be laptop, the other device may be a mobile phone, or any type of devices. The communication is being done. Next, in this communication part, we are going to see the 4 topics. The first one is characteristics of data communication. To understand any topic, first we have to understand the characteristics. The characteristics are very important for any electronic, to have any technical knowledge. Next, data representation. How the data is being represented is also very important topic. Third one is components of data communication system. To transfer any data from one system to the other system, we require a communication system. And for constructing this communication system, we require some components that we are going to study. Next, data flow. How the data is flowing, how the data is being transmitted from one place to the one system to the other system, or from one device to the another device. By understanding these 4 points, 4 topics, we can get a clear picture of data communication. First, see here in this figure, if we see a sender and a receiver is present. Here from this figure, we'll see the characteristics of data communication. What are the different characteristics? What are the important characteristics are required for a data is, if for example, I want to transmit some data, means I want to text a message to my friend, hi, how are you? I'm just typing a text, hi, how are you, to a particular person. Means I want typing a message, hi, how are you? And I want to send to my friend who is present here. This is my receiver. He is my friend and he is my receiver. And I am sending the message. When I send the message should reach to that particular receptionist or the person whom I want to send. That we are calling it as a proper delivery is required. If is delivery, the system must deliver data to the correct destination. Means this is my destination and my data should be transmitted to the correct person. And the next one is accuracy. The system must deliver accurate data as per sending format. What is the format I am going to send? What is the word I have sent here? Hi, how are you? H-A-I, hi, H-O-W, how are you? The same message should reach my friend, hi, how are you? If the message is reaching in a different manner, how are you first and hi, does them have any sense? No. Means accuracy is very important when a data is being transmitted from one end to the other end or from sender to the receiver. And at the same time, timeliness. Here, the name itself is telling time. System must deliver data in time. The time should be approximately, the data should reach the receptionist in time. On time it should reach. If the data is reaching after the time, it's useless. So these are the 3 important characteristics of the data communication which are ruling it. We can say the data communication is ruled by delivery accuracy and timeliness. The next concept is we have to understand representation of data. Till now we have seen the characteristics of data communication. Now we are going to see the representation of data. Here the data is represented in different forms. We have 5 forms. All of you know. First one, text and numbers. Both of them we can combine, text and numbers. Image, audio and video also we can combine and we can discuss. Here when I coming for the text and numbers, both of them are represented in a bit patterns. Text message, normally it consists of uppercase, lowercase alphabets. When we type the message using the keypad, and we'll see the message also in a alphabets, means English alphabets only we are going to see. But this message is being sent to the sender with the help of this bit patterns. Okay. Sequence of zeros and ones. This is useful for the security purpose also. This we call it as coding. Numbers also, the 0 to 1, 0 to 9 we are going to use, and these are also represented by bit pattern. If we see an example, see the Excel sheet. Here the Excel sheet, I've just taken a small example. Here the Excel sheet, it's not clear, but you can understand. In an Excel sheet, we can type the words, and numbering also we can do. The next, numbers and text we have completed. While coming further, images. How the images are represented. These are also represented by a bit pattern. But what is the difference between text message and this images? Images, the size of the images will be more when compared to the text or numbers, because it is composed of matrix of pixels. It is composed of, the image is having more size, larger size, because of the pixels, in present in the matrix. Present, the image is represented in the form of pixels, so the size is more, and the data transmission of the image is also very important. And whatever the image we are sending, suppose this is the image, the colorful image, you can see we have so many peripheral devices for communication, and they are all connected to a beautiful globe, that is our earth, and we call it as a network. Whatever the image, this image, if I want to send to some colleague, then what I should do, I will send this image. My colleague also should receive the same message, same picture. Means the picture, the clarity, and the clarity of the picture should be very good, and the resolutions we can call. Well, coming for the audio and video, these are recording or broadcasting of sound and music, and these are different, continuous. These are entirely different from our text, numbers and images. These are continuous in nature. And the size is also large compared to the image, number and text. See, we can say MP4 or MP3. For a little message, it will take a lot of MB. These are the five data representations. One is numbers, the other one is text, images, audio and video. Now, components of data communication system. What might be before seeing the components of data communication system, I would like you people to recollect the diagram of a communication system. What are the blocks present in the communication system, and what are the, I'll just give a 1 second of time, just recollect it, then I can proceed. Now, okay, data communication system. The communication system consists of a sender, a receiver and a channel. Is this right? Yes. We'll have a sender, we'll have a receiver and a channel, through which the medium we call the channel is through which the data is being transmitted, or the information is being transmitted from one place to the other place. Now I will show you this. Here, if we see this diagram, if we remove the protocols, we can say this small as in a communication system. Here we have sender, here the receiver, message, protocols and medium. Here the components of data communication we are having, there are 5 components. Main component, there are 5 components. One is a sender, next receiver, message, medium, and protocol. When I want to send a message from one point to the other point, I required a medium. And moreover, I required some rules and regulations. Protocol, we call it as a protocol. Without protocol, I can't communicate from one system to the other system. It is very highly impossible, I can say. See, these are the major components. Message. What is the message? Message is nothing but the information which I want to transmit from one sender to the receiver. Means the sender to the receiver, the message I want to transmit. This information. Message is nothing but some information or some data. This data, as already we have seen, that representation of data in text form, numbers form, pictures, audios, and video form, that we are going to send this message. Next, sender. What is this device? This device, what it is doing, whatever the message we want to send, that is sending. It is sending the message through a medium. What this receiver is doing, the receiver is receiving the message. What it is doing, it is receiving the message from the sender. Next, what is transmission medium? This transmission medium is nothing but, it may be of wireless or wired. If I am going for the wired communication, I will be using telephone line. The best example for this is telephone lines, and the cables we are going to use coaxial cable or twisted pair cable, optical fibers, any kind of thing we are going to use as a transmission medium. And moreover, we are nowadays we are having microwave also we are using as a transmission medium. Wherever it is required, we are going to use. Last, we're coming for the protocols. What are these protocols? These protocols help a sender, help a person to send a message and the receiver to collect the message. Means if I want to send a message, I'm A and I want to send a message to B computer. In my room, I have A, B, C. A, B and C. 3 computers I am having. Suppose I want to send message from A to B. But in a network, if we see, the network is connected to A is connected to B, B is connected to C, and C is also connected to A. All the 3 are interconnected. Now I want to send a message from A to B. What is happening? These rules, these protocols will help us to send my message to B only. The C will not take that message directly from A to B. The message is being sent with the help of these protocols. That's why we call the protocols a set of rules. The protocol governs the data communication. What it is doing? The protocol governs the data communication. I think it's clear to everyone. Next, data flow. Till now we have seen what is data, how the data is being represented, and the elements or the major elements or the components of data communication and the characteristics of data communication. The last one is data flow. What is data flow? We can tell it very easily. When a message is being transmitted from A to B, the flow, the data flow is in which form? Whether it is unidirectional, bidirectional, that we are going to see here. Data flow. Here we are having 3 types of data flows. We are written as transmission mode. We can call the data flow as transmission mode also. Transmission mode, we are having a simplex mode, half duplex mode and full duplex mode. The name itself is, and we can understand what is simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Simple means it will be simple, half means half transmission, full means, simple, half duplex and full duplex. We'll see that one. In this figure, we can understand simplex. In this figure, we can easily see it is one direction. We can call it as unidirectional. Means the data transmission is only in unidirectional mode. Unidirectional mode. So from this mainframe, we are sending data to the monitor. Is the monitor can send a data to the mainframe? No, because it is simplex connection. The mainframe can only send the data to the monitor. We have link between the two devices. Here we are having link between the two devices, but only one directional, unidirectional data is being flown or data is being transmitted. That is mainframe to the monitor. For example, the best example is our keyboard and the monitor. A keyboard, when we type something in the keyboard, a monitor will display, but monitor can give any command to the keyboard? No, means it is simplex and it is an unidirectional. Yes or no? Next, one more example, radio. The FM radio, where people are enjoying a lot. Whatever the song we want to see, we want to listen. We listen very comfortably and happily, and we enjoy the day, enjoy that song. Na? This is also in a simplex transmission. We call simplex mode. We can call the data flow is a simplex form, because only the data, only we are receiving the data. The songs are played from radio station. From radio station, we are going to receive it. Okay. Next, coming for the half duplex. Half duplex is, here we can see the arrow. It's in a direction this side and having, this side also it is having. Bidirectional we can call, but here the logic is, here the station 1 will send a data to the station 2. After receiving the data from the station 2, then the data 2 will send the data, again some data to the station 1. It is not simultaneously. This is happening one after the other. First one station will receive, after that only this station can transmit the data. Half duplex. Best example, can anyone think? Yeah, the best example for this half duplex is walkie-talkie. The police people or the traffic police people, they use this one, walkie-talkie. Okay, in many films also we have seen how the police people are using, how the traffic people are using this walkie-talkie. Next, the full duplex. We are coming for the full duplex mode. Here the station 1 is transmitting and station B also transmitting. Simultaneously the transmission is being done. Here simultaneously, it is bidirectional, but here it is happening simultaneously. Here also bidirectional, but what is happening one after the other. So this is known as a full duplex. The full duplex, both stations can transmit and receive simultaneously. Here in half duplex mode, each station can both transmit and receive, but not at the same time. Here, what might be the best example? Yeah, the best example for is the what will be the best example for this one? The mobile phones. The mobile phone, when we are speaking to a person, we can hear them and simultaneously what he is talking, immediately we are going to listen that one. Okay, next, networking. This we are going to see in the next session. Before that, we will see the video I'm just playing the video. Just see this one. Whatever the topics I have discussed today, that topics are being shown in this video. See, here the transmission media I've done explained you people. In this transmission media, we are going to use, if the transmission is of our wired communication, we can use the coaxial cable or the fiber optics cable or twisted pair cable. This coaxial cable, I think if you see it carefully, you have already seen this cable. This cable is present in our laboratory, that is in our communication lab or your EDC lab. The probe you are going to use, the BNC probe you are going to use, it is with the help of this coaxial cable only. Okay. Yeah, students, I hope you have understood the first topic of your data communication, introduction to data communication and networking subject. From the next class, we are going to see the networking and the modes, how we are going to do the networking. Thank you.